Wait, go back. Okay, you may start the recording. Okay, welcome everyone. We are Aztec Adaptive Sports. Thank you for coming today. If you came to the last meeting, you know a little bit about us. If you'd like to learn more, this is our social media, Aztec Adaptive Sports on Facebook. I always forget what this is, Flickr for the photos.
Yeah.
Instagram and Twitter. We're mostly active on our Instagram, so check that out. And then next we have Kelly.
So this is just another reminder about the website, because the website is just like super important for announcements, and you can look at our calendar, look at our upcoming events, and then especially the Get Involved, which is a new thing to take a look at. And it has all the future events, the Zoom links, the past GBMs, our membership requirements, email list, how to be added to the email list, and all of that stuff. So really make sure you check out our website if you have any questions, comments, or concerns.
If you want a quick place to find the Zoom link, if you don't have it, there's a link under calendar, and it has all of our meetings and all of the Zoom links for those meetings. Okay, so today we'll be talking about the GBM schedule for the rest of the semester. We'll be talking about our upcoming events. Then we have a super awesome guest speaker. And then we'll be talking about a couple of other announcements. And if we have time at the end, we're gonna do the Kahoot that we didn't have time for last meeting. Is Harari here? I think that she's unable to log on right now, so I'll just do this one. Today, our guest speaker is Roderick Sewell. He'll introduce himself later. And then we have two new guest speakers that we didn't have last meeting, but we have Josh Cinnamon and Dana Mathewson, who Josh, I think, is the shot put athlete, and then Dana Mathewson is a wheelchair tennis player. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Next, we have Remy.
Hi, I'm Remy. I'm the secretary, and I'm also on the board of the Undergraduate Research Committee. I'm just here to present an opportunity if anyone here is interested in getting involved in research. The mission of our club is to get more undergraduates involved in research at SDSU, and we're trying to give you the tools to get in contact with these professors and get into these labs. So you can visit us on Instagram to get more information on when our meetings are, or visit the undergraduate research website, or email us.
Okay, perfect. And if you guys have more questions about that, or you want these links like actually sent to you so you can just click on them, just reach out to us after the meeting. You can do that through Instagram, the GroupMe, or just stay a little bit after the meeting and we can send you guys those links.
So we have a movie night coming up on October 16th, and we're gonna hopefully be watching Rising Phoenix if we can get that worked out. I previewed it just to like watch a little bit of it, and I ended up watching the entire thing because it was just so good. And basically it's a kind of a documentary that follows 9 Paralympic athletes and like their journey to the Paralympics, and you hear like all of their stories, all of their training, and it was just super cool to watch. So I highly recommend coming and watching that with us.
And yeah, like she said, it's on Netflix. I watched the trailer for it. It looks super good, but I'm gonna wait to watch it with you guys. So go check out the trailer, but don't watch it until you watch it with all of us.
My friend said they cried. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Roderick?
I cried as well, I'm not gonna lie.
Really?
And I am not a crier whatsoever.
Okay, well, we'll be bonding over a movie night that we'll all be crying at, I guess. So like Kelly just said, our movie night is on October 16th. We'll be watching Rising Phoenix. Write that down. It'll be at 7 p.m. And then we are planning a game night with POTSA. What does that stand for? Physical
Pre-Occupational Therapy Student Association, POTSA.
Yes,
it is a
POTSA.
mouthful.
Yes. That will be on November 12th. And we'll get to mingle with their members a little bit. And you guys probably know a little bit of overlap with those GBM members because of our majors. We have a Chipotle fundraiser coming up on November 2nd. So I know we're supposed to like social distance and wear masks, but if we all go to this fundraiser, we can maybe like cross paths, say hi, check in with one another, and that should be pretty fun.
Just
if
a
you
side
have
note,
any
the Chipotle fundraiser, it's from 5 to 9 p.m.
If you have any other ideas for events, or if you're involved with another club that you think we could collaborate with, please let us know. We're super open to ideas, and we'd like to continue to schedule events for this year, this semester, and next semester.
What time is that game night again?
We're gonna try to plan it to be around 7.
Okay.
But it's not super official yet because we're still waiting on POTSA to let us know if that date and time will be okay with them.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
But yeah, write it down. That should be okay for everyone, and we will see you all then. Okay, without further ado, our guest speaker, Taylor, do you want to start?
Yeah, I was just about to say that we're all obviously really excited to have you here, Roderick. Thank you for being with us today and taking the time to talk to all of us. But feel free to introduce yourself to everyone.
Sure. Thank you all for having me. I want to give just a short introduction, and then I saw you had a few questions here. So honestly, I prefer a Q&A kind of situation. If you all have any questions for me, feel free to ask. But just a quick intro, I was born in San Diego. I lived there for 12 years, and being born there, I was born with missing tibias in both of my legs, which caused my disability. I had my legs amputated at 1.5 years, living with a single mother who didn't know what was next for me when it comes to her child. Obviously, I needed special needs, special care, and my mom, not knowing what was next, she relied on the doctors, and they told her that he could possibly live as an amputee on prosthetics. My mom had never seen anybody living on prosthetics. She had only seen people, kind of wearing them and still using a wheelchair or a walker, so she wasn't sure what kind of life I could have. But she took a chance, and it was the best chance she could have taken. So I got my first pair of prosthetics when I was 2.5, 3 years old, very, very young. And I've just seen them progress year by year since then. My mom making that sacrifice to get me the legs I needed was already enough, but she had to go even further. We, at the time, were doing pretty well, but as I got older, I had to get new prosthetics every year, and I hit around 6, 7 years old, and it just got to the point where they're so expensive. At this time, if I was 6 or 7, this had to be 98, and one prosthetic for above knee amputee was about $30,000. And that just, it's crazy. That's one, and I'm a double above knee amputee, so she has to get 2. So my mom, the biggest thing she could think of was to file for unemployment and get full coverage for my prosthetics, which her doing that kind of gave me a cover, a way that I can have prosthetics throughout my younger years. And once I turned 18, then I was pretty much on my own. With that sacrifice that she made, we ended up being homeless for a while. And I think I was 8 when we were living from shelter to shelter. And, talking about it, I'm like, yeah, that was rough. We had our rough moments, but we were so happy, so blessed in our own way, in a way that people didn't really understand. At the time we were going through the shelters, we met CAF, Challenge Athletes Foundation, which it was through them that I met Dana Matheson and Haven Shepherd. So when you have Haven on here, tell her to tell you about the bird story and that Roderick said this. Okay, she's going to be completely upset, but I've known her since she was like a baby. And Dana,
Oh, wow.
yeah, a legit child. And then
Awesome.
Dana and I used to play wheelchair basketball together when we were young, really, really young. So yeah, seeing them is like a blast from the past. But yeah, so we got involved with CAF, and I got introduced to all these adaptive sports where I could do hand cycling, I could run on running blades, I could, you know, play wheelchair basketball, I could do whatever. It would just be different. And honestly, seeing these different sports and trying to, participate, my mom had never seen anything like this. I had never seen anything like this. And honestly, a lot of people haven't. So when they see a different sport like this, you're kind of interested. You're naturally intrigued, and you want to see more. There's a reason why people watch wheelchair basketball. There's a reason why people love wheelchair rugby and seeing people smash into each other. It's exciting. You don't see it too often. And so for me, being like, I guess I was 8 or 9, and just getting to the point where I could be in sports, because I wasn't playing until that age. I didn't run until I was 10. I didn't play sports until I was 8 or 9, and that was through CAF. So you can imagine what kind of built up energy I had and how I just used it for every sport I could. And from there, I just took off with whatever I wanted, swimming being the last sport that I took to because I had a huge fear of the water. And I'm sure it seems like a smart group. I'm sure we all can understand the reasons behind that, besides access to the pool, restriction and fear from the past when it comes to water and being near water, and having the stigma that because I was Black, I couldn't swim. All these reasons, and on top of that, I had no legs. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just not meant to swim. And I met my buddy, Rudy Garcia-Tolson, who is a 4-time Paralympic swimmer, double above knee amputee, just like myself. The first amputee I ever met anything like me. And seeing him swim just proved to me that I could do it. And once I got those lessons, I fell in love with swimming. I started really competing at 12. And then at 16, I got a grant to go to the 2008 Beijing Paralympic Games. And I got to see my buddy Rudy, who I think that was his second games. He got gold in his main event, the 200 IM. And from then on, I was 16 at the time. I was like, okay, this is the sport. This is what I want to do. This is for me. And it wasn't viewed as, at that level, it wasn't viewed as adaptive. At the Paralympic level, it's not viewed as an adaptive sport. It's like the best, the most highly qualified from each region, obviously. And there's a reason why it's parallel to the Olympics, and they prove it in that time. So seeing him on the stage, getting his medal, was like, okay, this is what I want. And time goes on, I moved to Alabama to get away from our financial issue there in San Diego. And we're in Alabama. I lived there for 10 years. I go to high school. I started training for the Paralympics in swimming. I graduated high school. I became the first in my family to go to college and graduate from university, and did all that in Alabama. I will say, though, at my school, we did not have an adaptive program. So there was no team, there was no effort to bring people together. So what I naturally did and what I've always done through my years is train with people that were faster. When I swam on a high school swim team, I was always last in the lane, last in the pool. But I wanted to swim with people that were faster because that's what it took to get to where I needed to be. And it paid off. I got to represent USA on 3 national teams. My last being World Championships in 2017. And then I just had my Ironman competition last year, which was life-changing. And now I'm looking towards training for swimming and cycling towards the 2021 Paralympics. From the way things are looking now, it's going to happen. And I know athletes that are, they would, even if their lives were on the line, they would go to represent their country. And I think that's the way a lot of athletes are feeling. I know I'm feeling the same way. And so I'm at the point now I just want to be ready. And that's where I'm at now.
Awesome. So what drew you to swimming in the end?
The fear of it first. And once I overcame that fear, the love I had for it, and I just did it so much that I saw that I had some kind of potential, and my coaches saw that I had potential as well. It's not often you see a double above knee amputee that's swimming, especially black. I used to tell people that I was a swimmer and they looked at me like I was lying. Like I just made it up. And knowing that kind of made me want to keep going. Like, all right, I'll prove to you that I can swim. Like, there's no stigma on me. There's no stereotype on me. I'm going to do anything and everything I can. My disability is not going to hold me back. My color is not going to hold me back. I'm going to continue to push forward.
I was actually, I have a funny story. I was a swimmer in high school, and I was like lining up for my race, like 100 free or something like that. And then this girl next to me, she's a single above the leg amputee. And I'm like, okay. And then we go into the race, and I finished the race, and she beat me. And I was like, wow, she's amazing. Like, she's a great swimmer. It was just like the first time I was exposed to adaptive sports, and I was really like impressed and shocked. But
you remember her name by any chance?
I don't remember.
No?
This was back in high school, maybe like 7 years ago or something like that.
Like forever ago now, right?
Yeah. What's your stroke? What's your favorite event?
My main stroke and the stroke I'm going for is 100-meter breaststroke.
Nice.
That's my go-to. I might be considered for the relay. I was participated in the relay for Worlds, but the way things are up in the air with men qualifying for games, and we only have a certain amount of slots to get men and women to games. It's going to be interesting to see, what they're going to do for relay teams. But yeah, my only focus is the 100 breaststroke.
That's really interesting because sorry, I just have
No, go ahead.
Because breaststroke is such a leg heavy sport. Like the kick is your power, and so what are the athletes like that you're competing with in breaststroke?
So we all have different variations of disabilities. Obviously I'm double above knee, but I'll race guys who are, paralyzed. Basically, when you have the classifications on your disability, they go from S1 to S10. For me, I'm considered an S8, and in that has freestyle, backstroke, and butterfly. And so I race people that are also in that category, and their disability would line up with mine. So they would have little to no use of their lower limbs. So yeah, for breaststroke, I'm an SB6, and I'll race individuals who are lower limb deficient, or they don't necessarily have the same muscles to build up that, like you said, that leg stroke, that kick.
Yeah.
So it's varies, and that's the cool part.
Yeah. I think Angeline, you had a question?
Oh no, he actually answered all of my questions. I was gonna ask like, oh, what classification are you, and like what different strokes have you competed in? But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like I'm trying to remember doing like breaststroke pull with the buoy between my legs, and it's so hard. It's really impressive.
Yeah.
It's funny, I had somebody approach me saying that the way I swim breaststroke is the way they train it at practice. They would tie their legs up and swim and try to work their body. And, in my mind, I'm thinking that must be nice because there's no getting away from it. I have to swim that way. But it's all in technique,
Yeah.
Do you prefer breaststroke or butterfly?
I prefer breaststroke, but butterfly is fun for like a 25 or a 50.
Yeah.
For one lap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun to train, and I love the way it feels, but when it starts to hurt,
it's hard. Like I always thought butterfly was the most difficult stroke to try and do.
It's a beautiful stroke, and if you
it is beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Michael Phelps. If you're Michael Phelps, it's beautiful.
Right.
Doesn't he have like a certain condition where like his arms are like longer than his legs or something like that?
He has extended arms, and I don't know, webbed feet.
Yeah,
he doesn't have webbed feet. He has Marfan syndrome, so it just
there you go.
Big hands.
Right.
Yeah.
It plays in his favor for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think maybe we can move on to talking a little bit about the Ironman triathlon and like your journey to completing it and how you train for it and stuff like that.
Sure. So Ironman was out of nowhere. I'll tell you all right now. It was very much, I never considered doing it. It was not anything I wanted to do. It was pretty much kind of thrusted upon me, but it's one of those things you don't turn down. So April of 2019 is here, and I do a half Ironman race just for fun. I swim 1.2 miles in 33 minutes. I have my teammate do the bike because I did not like biking whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then I did the run, which was a half marathon. And that was my first time doing anything over 6 miles. And I went to an hour 39 for 13 miles.
That's not so bad.
It was okay. It was good. It hurt, but it was good for my first time. And from that point on, I had my buddy Rudy, who is a double above knee amputee as well. And it was the first double above knee amputee to finish an Ironman. He was there and he was shocked at my time and kind of convinced that, okay, you have it in you, you can do more. And he was there, the co-founder of CAF, Bob Babbitt, he was there, and he asked me, like, would you consider doing Ironman if you could? And prior to this, in 2009, Rudy attempted the Kona Ironman World Championships on a normal standard bike with his prosthetics, and he missed the cutoff by 15 minutes. So fast forward 10 years, I tell Bob, if you want me to do this race, or if I'm considered, I need to use a hand cycle. I want to use a hand cycle. I don't know if my legs can get through it, but I know for a fact my arms can. And that was granted. So late July comes and Ironman gives me a slot to race and compete. And as I'm competing, I see Akil coming in. As I'm competing and training and getting ready, I did a half Ironman 2 weeks before, just to like get my race jitters out the way. And really, I just amped up my training. I was already running 6 miles. I was already had the endurance in swimming. I was doing up to 10,000 meters a day comfortably. And the only issue I had was cycling. I didn't own a bike when I got my Ironman slot. So I was like, I need a bike first if I want to compete. CAF got me my hand cycle, and I just put in the hours because I knew it was my weakest. I just put in hours on hours to make sure that I had the comfort in knowing that I could finish this race, mainly the bike portion, because there was a stigma, just this over our head feeling like this is the hardest part. You need to get to the bike, and you could walk the run and be okay. Just get through the bike. So I put in the hours. Kona comes, it's race day. I do the swim in 1 hour and 9 minutes. And then the bike was 8 hours and 56, I believe, close to 9 hours. And it was tough. The bike was for sure the hardest part. The swim for me was, not that hard whatsoever. It was more so the part that I'm like zenned out, I'm focused, I'm mentally preparing, because it's quiet, and you can only think about where you are right now. The one thing I've learned with Ironman is you can't think too far ahead because you're going to get overwhelmed, and you just need to kind of take it step by step. So the swim's over, the bike starts, I'm going, the wind's heavy, like 25, 30 miles per hour in your face. I throw up twice. Hopefully that's not too much information. Back to back, legit. And it was a moment where I was like, okay, this might be it. I might not make it. But that's the beauty of the race, is that there's nobody out there to tell you, okay, stop, you're done. You just threw up twice, sir. You need to go. I just kept going. I told myself if I am to not make it, they would have to pull me off this race course and tell me that I didn't make it. Other than that, it's going to be my own doing to get me there. So, I'm riding, I keep going. After I throw up, I actually feel better. So I just keep going and get to the bike cutoff, make it by 30 minutes, and then the marathon starts. And I want to be clear, I've never biked over 90 miles before this race. I've never run more than a half marathon before this race. And that was my first time swimming a 2.4 mile swim. Yeah, so it's a full day of firsts. And so the marathon starts. I go out too fast because, the whole island is there and everybody's cheering you on, and just caught up in the moment. So for a solid 9 miles, I was going way too fast.
Mm-hmm.
And mile 11 hit, and I came to a walk. I was walking the whole time.
You hit the wall.
Yep.
You hit the wall.
I told myself,
You know, it's like
you don't stop though. You don't stop. Yeah, like you
yeah.
keep some kind of momentum. And I started running again at mile 12, and mile 20 was when I was like, okay, I have nothing left to give. That's when the wall was like in my face. I was just like,
Yeah. It's like pushing you back.
yeah, seriously. And I had 6 miles left to go. I did what's called the Ironman Shuffle, where you're like trying to get started, and then you're back to walking. And you're like, okay, I got it again. And you're just
You're like race walking at this point.
And then you eventually listen to your body until you just walk until you're ready. But that last 6 miles, after the full day of just racing and watching the sun go down and being out there for 14, 15, going on 16 hours, I knew who was listening. I knew who was watching. I knew what this meant for the adaptive community, and it was bigger than me. I really had to take myself out of the picture because, there's so many stigmas on people with disabilities. There's so many, so many different types of perspectives that people don't consider that somebody like me could do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
It would tell me otherwise, So I wanted to do this and get this done. And it's one of those things that it doesn't matter who did it or how it was done, just that it's done. And it makes that statement that, yes, I have a disability, but look at what I did. Look at what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm given the right equipment, if I'm given the right training, the right coaching, everything I need, just like you would give any other athlete, I guarantee you we would be fine. And that's what that was. And just to come across the finish line, and my mom's there, Rudy's there, everybody that's been watching Ironman, it's late, almost midnight. Everybody's out there clapping, cheering still.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so much energy, and it's a huge metaphor for life. How much can you do? How far can you go when things are really tough? Like, how much more can you do?
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to do that with a disability, it kind of leaves room for no excuses, yeah.
Well, congratulations on that. That's super awesome. A big step for the adaptive community. So you talked about you like watching your friend, I think Rudy,
yes,
compete and winning, and now people are looking up to you, doing well in all these events and stuff. So my question is, what advice would you give to younger athletes who are wanting to get involved in adaptive sports or who are starting to get involved with this community?
I would tell them to be balanced. Don't be afraid to push yourself, but know your limits. Know when to ask for help. Know when you've been doing too much, but don't think because you have a disability that you can't do something or it is too much. We all have trials and tribulations that we go through. We all have different struggles. People see my legs and they think they know my struggles, but I've been an amputee all my life. My legs are the last thing on my mind. It might be the first thing you see, but the last thing on my mind. So it's I feel like we all have these obstacles to get through, right? So do so. Continue to do so. If you've been doing that your whole life to get to this point, it's only going to get tougher. You can only get stronger.
Do any of the other e-board members have any questions they want to ask, or any of the GVMers want to ask any questions? You can also send them in the chat if you don't want to ask.
Yo, Roderick. Yo, Roderick, so when are you going to start the para-triathlon program here at San Diego State?
Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
No,
oh, my God.
I just, brother, hey, man, just want to just drop in really quick. Hey, man, it's thank you for being here, first off. I know I wasn't here in the beginning.
Oh, my gosh, Akil, you scared everybody.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. But, hey, man, it's you, and I'm so glad that you're still doing your thing, man. We'll connect. We'll connect another time. But just wanted to stop by and say hello, man. It's a pleasure.
Sure. It's good to see you.
Yeah, man, Absolutely,
Very
absolutely.
Um, okay. Anyone think someone else should ask a question?
There was a question in the chat from Bree and Jeshin, and they said, how exactly are you able to compete in cycling and swimming, and what are the qualifications for each sport?
So, yeah, so, you know, for swimming, I would only be doing the 100-meter breaststroke. And for cycling, they have the time trial, which is a 12-mile race, and then the road race, which is the actual race of, you know, determining first, second, and third. And that's a 21-mile race around. So I really only have 3 events, if you truly think about it. Unless I get put onto relays, then I might have more. The only issue would be with timing and to make sure that the races don't align. But that part can get worked out. As opposed, when it comes to classifications and racing, you know, everything's canceled this year. I've been in touch with a lot of the people at, you know, the OTC, the Olympic Training Center, and trying to figure out when I could possibly race and when I could get classified, because I haven't been classed in cycling yet. And my classification for swimming expired pretty much. I have to get reclassed every year. So it's tough. You know, Corona kind of put a hold on a lot of things this year. And even with games, you know, looking good, looking positive for next year, there's still a lot we have to do when it comes to getting class and getting qualified. And this is not just our country, but other countries. You know, so hopefully we'll see how it goes. For me, I'm just kind of, I want to be ready. So I'm just focused on doing my rides, doing my swims, and making sure that I'm prepared when they need me to go, when they need me to move, whether it's left or right, to do whatever I need to do.
I have a question about the classification systems. I know correct me if I'm wrong, is it based off the condition of the individual in order to be put into that classification?
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, it's different for every sport, or is it like kind of the same?
They're still based off your condition or the individual. Yeah. Each sport, but each sport has its own way of classification, own numbers, standards.
Okay. And then, in terms of the Ironman, is Ironman just the event itself, or are there also like classification or like special accommodations, or it's just all you?
So Ironman is just everyone. You know, we have all ages,
okay.
different disabilities. So when I was racing, we had the pro men go off at 6:25, the pro women at 6:30, and then physically challenged category goes off at 6:35. And so in that category, you have people like me, you have, you know, different multiple disabilities.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I see.
We have a lot of members who are kinesiology or health majors that might be interested in working with adapted athletes and other people with varying abilities. So do you think you could describe like a few of the different trainers or coaches or other professionals that you work with so our members can see some of the options that they have for working with this population?
So when you say describe, just like the people that I've trained with and the coaches?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just list like if you have like certain types of trainers or certain coaches that specialize in adapted athletics, just so they can see what the options are.
The one thing I've noticed from my coaches, the ones that I thought were the most qualified, is they would work with anybody with a disability and they would see what they could do. You know, they wouldn't necessarily give them a set or workout or anything first. They would kind of do a test to see range of mobility, how much weight is too much weight, just little things like that. I was kind of easy because I'm the type to adapt to whatever situation. But I like that even with me, you know, with my disability, they were monitoring what I should and should not be doing. And also, I know personally, like if I'm in the gym too much or doing too much weights, I get big. So they took that into consideration and they worked on my finer muscles and smaller muscles to better maintain and to keep some kind of stability versus just focusing on the bigger muscles and getting heavy and slow in the water, you know. So I like that in any kind of coach, any kind of, anyone working with you on any kind of stretching or any kind of weightlifting or anything like that. I think if they're focused on what you can do first as an adaptive athlete, and then going from there, building from there.
Do you have like a set team that you train with regularly?
At the moment, I don't. I have a friend who swam for South Africa that I'm swimming with now, and then I ride. I pretty much ride on my own. But that's the beauty of it. Riding in New York, you're never really alone. So
That's true.
when I'm on the trail, I'm trying to keep up with the guys with legs. That's the kind of guy I am.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So we have students who are new to working with adaptive athletes, and I get some questions of like, oh, how do you approach like these type of athletes? And coming from, or how are we supposed to like help them, because that's what we want to try and do. Coming from an athletic perspective, like, and then also for myself too, because I used to be a coach and I'm still trying to like learn. How would you say athletes would like to like receive help, if that's like a way to put it, or like how should we approach you guys so that we can help you guys like perform to the best that you can, and then help us like know and gauge like how we can like help you guys be better.
That's a good question. So I'll start with this. You all have how many sports at SSU?
For adaptive
Mhm.
athletics, so far we just have wheelchair tennis and then track and field. We have we have one of our girls doing field, and then we have two sprinters, and then I think we're gonna be we're bringing in a recruit for long jump, and then another dude for shot put or discus, one of those two.
I mean, what I would want personally, if you know, it's hard because I'm the type I struggle with asking for help. So it's hard to say. But if I'm the type that I would come to you if I needed help. Like you would be there for any other athlete, you would be there for your adaptive athletes. They might need more care, they might need more assistance, but they would let you know. They wouldn't. I think just be there ready to help. You don't necessarily need to ask for help or ask how can I help, because these guys, they push through so much to get to this point already. Now they're just trying to better themselves in their sport. They've already mastered the technique. They're just trying to work on their form. So it's
Okay, so would you say like also just building that personal relationship with that? Okay.
just getting that
Thank
awareness
you.
of yeah, for sure, how they are. Like one thing for me, when I played wheelchair basketball, I would always leave my legs in the corner, and then I would ride off on my chair and go play. And I had friends that knew when I was done, I would just ride back over to my legs, put them on, push my chair. They would come over, bring my legs to me, put them on, and they would take my chair for me because they know that's what I'm going to do. That is helpful. That is helpful. And after a long day of working out and playing, I was like, oh my God, thank you. I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, it's just those little things. But yeah, building that connection for them to be like, okay, I can rely on you if I need something. I think that's more important.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I had a quick question. How long do you usually like warm up before your races? And is there like any that you're more concerned or like aware of, just because like you're using your arms or upper body more?
I'm one of those that I need a long warm up, but I like to take like it long and slow. And I do take into consideration my shoulders are probably the ones the most beating I would take is up here. So I do take into consideration, I put a lot of strain on my shoulders, but I also try to focus on my recovery. I try to focus on, because my shoulders are taking that beating, I need to focus on repairing them more versus, and that's something I had to learn myself, just constantly putting a beating on my body and not recovering the same. I would tell this to any adaptive athlete, especially, my example is a little easier because I don't have my legs, my upper body takes up more of the work. If that's the case, then my upper body needs to be getting double the recovery, because it's doing double the work.
Feel after the Ironman.
Oh my God, I didn't work out for months. I was done. But you know what's funny? After the Ironman, you would think you're tired, you're ready to go to bed. I was up until like 2, 3 a.m. And you're just so like, there's just so much adrenaline. You're just so in the moment that I was sore. I was definitely lying in bed like, oh, I can't move, but I feel amazing. Like, this is great. I love myself. But yeah.
I think Bree and Justin had a question.
Going off of Shane, actually, I was going to ask, since you are training, you're swimming and you're cycling, like what's a regular like training day for you? Like what do you, like tell us like a day in your life, like what do you do to go out, work out, and both sports if they're like off days too?
For sure. Well, it's changed a lot. Before Corona, I would swim in the morning and maybe ride in the evening, or mix it up, ride in the morning, run in the evening. Just kind of do some kind of dual workout, and do that dual workout Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays have like a hard or a long workout in one discipline, whether that was swimming, biking, or running, and then a long ride on the weekends, or a long run or a long swim.
How long are your long rides?
The longest that I got to before Kona and last year, 80 miles, 90 miles.
90, like 90?
Yeah.
Wow.
60 to 90. And my longer swims would be, 4,000 or 5,000. And then my longer runs would be 6 to 8 miles. I take that back, 12 miles. 6 to 8 was my zone, my area.
Awesome. Okay, I think
Akil
Taylor
had a,
Oh, sorry. We're just
Akil had a question. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we're just reaching the end of the meeting. So Taylor has a question, and then Akil has a question, and then we'll just start to wrap up from there.
Okay.
Yeah. What time up into Bree and Justin's question? Or is it going to be like what you do for your days off?
I'm so just active when I have a day off. This is it. This is nothing. Just resting. I'm just okay. Relax. Honestly, I try to take the time to call my family, call my friends, make sure everybody's good, especially during this time. I remember to appreciate my own health, appreciate where I am. I like to listen to my Audible books. I love music, so I'm always listening to music. Yeah, my off days are very rare, so when I get them, I try not to do anything.
So Akil asked, how can people stay in touch with you in your journey?
For sure. You guys could follow me, or you all could follow me on my Instagram handle is rsewell92, just my first initial, my last name, and 92 is my birth year.
I'll type that in the chat.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
Okay, does anyone have any other questions for Roderick? Thank you so much for coming. This was super fun and helpful and interesting.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we're just gonna head back into our normal GBM slides. So
all right,
this is where we part ways.
I'm gonna go eat and go ride. Okay. So you all enjoy.
Okay.
Thank you, Roderick. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much. It was fun listening to you.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna share my screen again. So that was fun. Any feedback, comments?
That was really interesting to listen to. And it's like he's coming from such a humble background, from like nothing to this. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Does anyone else have any comments? Nope. Okay, you can always say them in the chat if you want. So we are adding another opportunity to get points. So we have added a 0.5 points per post social media incentive. So if you repost one of our posts on your stories, you will receive a 0.5 points towards your GBM points or your cord points, sorry. There is a 2-point maximum, so you can only do it up to 4 times.
To add on to that, it's for Aztec Adaptive Athletics, and then also our SDSU Adaptive Athletics, or SDSU Adaptive Athletics program as well. So either page, if you like, comment and like share the post on your Instagram story, and then make sure to tag us so that I can give you the point credit. And then like she said, it's 2 points max. So if you do that on 4 posts, then that's 2 points that you can get from that.
Okay, so last thing, we talked about this at our first meeting, but we're going to do like a recruit one, receive one. So at our last meeting, we told you that if you brought a new member to this meeting, then you could get a free t-shirt. This is probably going to be when we're back on campus, so we can give it to you or you can pick it up from one of us. We're going to be doing this for our next couple of meetings. So as long as you bring someone, you guys will both get a shirt. And you guys can DM me in the chat or DM me in our group me that I also linked in the chat. So you can just let us know that you brought someone, and then we'll keep track of that way. And just so you know, we do have limited sizes. So we mostly have like smalls and mediums right now.
Okay. Thank you all for coming. Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? I'm going to read the chat really quick just so we don't miss anything.
Are the meetings going to be on the same day next week?
We have bi-weekly meetings, so the next meeting will be
so next week.
It'll be October 8th.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, just a heads up.
Taylor, your internet.
Feel free to DM me or just message me after.
Your internet wasn't working, Taylor. You have to type it. So I'm just gonna read the chat. Again, we don't have any dues due this semester, but if you would like to donate to us, we'd really appreciate that. Yeah. And anyone who's in other orgs and wants to get involved and collaborate with us, feel free to contact Taylor. Contact Taylor. And if you want to get added to our group me, just stay for a little bit after the meeting. We can help you with that. Or if you have any questions after the meeting, you can stay. But I think at this time, unless anyone has anything else to say,